Like I could walk up to anyone ever and say, hey, do you know anyone buying or selling real estate? And they say no. Okay, great. So hey, if you don't ask, you don't get nothing. See you later. Super easy. But if you're following a script, then it's going to be terrible, because what's happening is that you're being someone else. Hey guys, Ben Osterveld here. You're about to listen to an episode. I got interviewed by my buddy Erwin in Hamilton, Ontario. He runs the podcast called The Truth About Real Estate Investing. We are releasing this on the From Within podcast because there was absolute fire. We break down the world-class client experience. We break down the mindset that goes behind it and how you can absolutely dominate through creating contrast and extreme thoughtfulness. Now, if you're anyone that's building a client base, this is going to be really good for you. Also, if you're someone that just wants to know why you don't do what you know you need to do, understand what your glass ceiling is, how you can absolutely tap into what's holding you back, this is about that too. Cheers, enjoy. Leave a comment, send us a note. Love to hear about it. Podcasts don't really have any way to see comments or anything like that. Feedback is welcome. Love to see it. Cheers.
It's been a while.
Well, yeah, man. Oh, it has been. I was excited to connect again, honestly. Yeah. And being on you'll be going on my podcast on this one as well. Honored. So I think it's to be a third time together doing this. Honored. So much like each other.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about social media is I don't think we've ever seen each other in person, have we?
I met you when I spoke in Toronto at one last talk. It was called The Summit.
That was so long ago.
Yep, I remember you. Did you have a little baby with you or something?
Yeah, my daughter. That was 5 years.
I remember that. That was even
5.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I had just got my real estate license by that time.
Right. Yeah, I remembered you. I remember running up to a chat. Like, hey, let's chat. Did you speak that day?
I did. Yeah.
Damn, that's so long.
I remember what I spoke on. It was all the old belief systems, and I said, the whole. I remember that, man. Is whatever you believe, put it on the fire, let it burn, and whatever's yours, whatever's left, that's what you keep. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been born with so many different belief systems and expectations, cultures, you know, and everything. It's like, what do we believe? It's like owning your life. So I remember that. That was pretty cool. It was terrifying.
That was pretty cool. Remind me again what your dad did for a living.
That my dad was a financial planner. Okay. So sales. I grew up with a salesman.
Interesting. So I know we weren't planning on talking about this stuff, but I still think it's interesting because
yeah, sure, man.
I think you and I take it for granted because I think, I know that I read a lot about how important it is to understand human psychology for personal performance.
Huge.
And that was like kind of like what you said. You know, throw what you believe in the fire because you don't know where your beliefs came from. Most of them were taught to you. Yeah. Even if your parents meant well, like they all meant well, they all wanted us to do better than they did. Sure. Yeah. But sometimes they're plain wrong, right?
I just feel like raising my kids. I've got a crazy background, but I'm raising my kids to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Like I right away told my son, I was like, you know what's crazy? If we were born in the Middle East, we would be probably talking about Allah, not Jesus. I said, what do you? I go, and he's a little kid. I'm like, what do you think of that? And so I give him the thought. So we can start really being independent. And it's funny, it's really funny because I know since we're live and we can't edit this, I won't drop a name, but there's people that are in our family that they said, what are you doing? Like, why would you ever give your kid a choice? And I was just like, bite my tongue. Like it was literally because you need to teach them in the ways. That's more religious stuff, but
I know, but you're just sharing truth.
Well, and to them, it's not, right? It's anyways, that's a whole other topic. But no, I think you got to think for yourself. I think that's
a great example of thinking for yourself, like teaching them to think for yourself.
But like conviction, I believe that. Like you got to, like whenever I coach anybody, that's what we do. It's not like, hey, you want to replicate Ben? No, I'm like, who are you? What do you want? Yeah. Like, how do we even do anything without knowing what we want? Like thinking about investors and real estate, like. It's all the same. Like your realtors are like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to get these awards. Okay. Once you got the awards, I'm going to buy rental properties. Okay. Then I'm going to buy the holiday home. Okay. Then I'm going to get it's like even our whole belief system around investing is it ours? Like someone must have came up with that system. Like someone, you know what I mean? Like, of course there's a lot of good sense in it. I just want to know if it's mine. You know, it's like, sometimes it's like, yeah, I believe that.
Just the other day. Just the other day, we had nesting doves sitting on one of our porch lights, and then the babies finally hatched. So I was showing them to my daughter, and she goes, "Aw," And I thought, did she learn that, or was that instinctive?
Yeah, right? I love that. Now you're getting into my world.
Yeah, same idea, right?
Love that. Like, yeah, that's got to be instinctive, or it was learned. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that's part of the question, that we should have these questions and challenge, and especially 100%. If you're like, I challenge thoughts in my own head, right?
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Like I'm sure that you do them yourself. For example, like a friend of mine, absolutely. I meet him well. Like he does well. His wife's a teacher. They have 2 kids. But he, like, we talk real estate sometimes. Just not trying to push anything. It was just friendly conversation over dinner type thing. Yep. But he says the real estate market's going to crash.
Yeah.
Right. And then I ask him, oh, well, who taught you that? He goes, oh, my parents, and because he's Greek, and because his parents lived through that stuff, right? Yeah. Hyperinflation periods. Right.
Totally. Filter, man. That's their filter. That's how they see it.
Yeah. So he's missed this massive run in prices while he still rents. And now he takes personal offense to it when people bring it up. I don't bring it up because I don't see him that often.
Well, it's just offense, defense, right? It's super offensive, super defensive. I think this is position how people live. Like, you keep safe, and that's good too. You know, he didn't lose. You know, but it's offensive, defensive posture. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
The why behind it is my obsession. It's like, why is he like that? I can't stop thinking. That's where I find most success ever is the why questions, not how. It's always why.
Yeah, why? And then challenge it, research it.
Yeah. Because once you own it, like, there's an energy about it, man. Like, it's like if you don't live with doubt. So think about this. My son is not my son. Let's just imagine my wife cheated on me, or I thought she cheated on me. And then all of a sudden someone comes up to me and I don't want to face the truth. I had these doubts. I'm not for sure, but I'm convincing everyone that's my son. Oh, yeah, it's my son. But deep down, I have a doubt. So we have a doubt. So this could be also an example of self-doubt when you want to defend yourself all the time. But if you think about it, you're like my wife so someone comes to me and goes, that's not your boy. My reaction was, no, it is my boy. It is. I'll prove it. I'll go to a DNA test. And it's almost like an emotional reaction. It could be internal, external. Those are the clues. But if my boy, I knew 1000% that's my boy. My wife and I did it one night. The next day she's pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And if someone goes, that's not your boy, I'd go, yeah, whatever, buddy. And so our reactions are the clues, right? So I think living with doubt is crazy to me. Like, I can't, because and you always look at the emotional reactions, right? And that's always where you find out, like, why did I react that way? And that's where you start digging. Because then once you own it, man, you're confident, your self-worth, you attract success. Way different game. That's when you start talking about the psychology tied to success. I think that's the stuff that's the hack.
And when we're talking about hack, we're just looking for the shortest path, right? We're not cheating nothing. We're still trying to do things the right way. It's just being efficient about stuff.
It's like pounding in a nail with a screwdriver.
Yes, that would be inefficient.
But the hack is called a hammer.
Yeah. For someone who didn't know, like, wow, you just hacked that with a hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a nail gun, right?
Yeah.
Next level hack.
Great point. I love that you broke down what hack is. That's really cool, because really it's not anything other than finding a better way to do it, a more efficient way, the proper way, or whatever.
Absolutely. And actually, that's a great segue into what we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Because actually, let's so we want to talk about mind-blowing experiences for clients.
Yeah, you bet.
How did you go start on this path?
Great question. I have spent some time thinking about this, because when you're teaching and coaching all the time, you have these natural things that you're doing all your life, and people are like, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. So you really spend a lot of time dissecting why do I. So at the end of the day, to be bluntly honest, I think at a very core level, I grew up in a way where I didn't feel loved by my family. So we'll go back because this is really where it comes from. Why it's natural for me, okay? Not like, here's this, I teach people, and it doesn't have to be natural, because it's an amazing system to blow their minds. And you'll see, we'll talk about that, obviously. But if you think about it, I feel like I had a family, like I grew up in a family, my dad would work a lot, and he didn't know how to connect with me. It wasn't the best relationship back then. And what was interesting is one day I remember him buying me a bike. And he comes up, and it's this red BMX bike. And I was so disappointed. And I thought, man, I just wish you'd sit down and play Mario Brothers with me. And it was almost like he missed it. Like, he missed what absolutely would have blown my freaking mind, which is human love connection. And so what happened was, it was like, yeah, whatever. Like by that time I didn't like the guy anyways. So it wasn't authentic. It was like, maybe it felt maybe a little guilty for how he treated me or whatever. And it's just like, I went through life going, you know what would be awesome is to make people feel good. And it used to be based out of an insecurity thing to be liked. And then as I became confident and I love who I am more than I have ever loved who I am today. And now it's just like a way of life. And it's not that I need it. It's just freaking awesome. So what I started doing was like, I rented a limo. This is before any business. I was a teenager and I saw my sister. She never really had a boyfriend. Okay. She was such a great girl. And I thought, you know what would be good on her birthday? Let me just hook up. I got a limo for her. And I just felt like, wouldn't it be cool to just blow her mind? I got a limo and I took her out and I said, let's go. I'm taking you out for dinner. Because she didn't have a boyfriend do it or whatever. And I thought, I'm going to do this for you. So limo, we went out for dinner. I took her and I said, here you go. Let's go have some fun. And so it's just something that I've always done. Like if there was, I'd leave a thank you card with people that made me feel good. I was very, very conscious of how to connect with a human being and how to kind of surprise them. And so this is something that I just went into business. It's almost like dating versus business. So that's maybe the origin story in a real Coles Notes way of like the why behind why is it so natural just to make someone happy. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of times we have our own dysfunctions, but they can really turn into your superpowers if you get some healing and wholeness. Mm-hmm. So we always try to change ourselves. I think we embrace our stuff. Like, sure, I could have been a people pleaser the rest of my life, making people happy just so I could feel any sense of self-worth, but I don't need that anymore. But what I'm left is with a superpower world-class client experience, which is freaking awesome and fun.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing to talk about. I don't even know how to break it down.
Well, you know what? Here's the world-class formula. Okay, we'll break it down to this is now flipping to the from the emotional side. Let's go to the logical side. Formula one. I've never shared this outside of my own coaching groups. World-class client experience formula. Okay, one, it has to be unexpected. Okay, which is the emotional reaction. And if it doesn't have an emotional reaction, we've missed the bar on the mind-blowing world-class experience. So if you're like it's funny because I was just telling my coaching group, I have a bunch of new clients through this program I'm running, and I do an interview and I say, what are you doing in your business that causes people to tell their friends to fire their real estate agent and hire you? Like, what would you have to do without being, dishonoring to the industry and stuff? Just that your experience is so good that they're raving. Every one of them said hard work. Every one of them said like, on my response time, I'm paperless. Like, it was all the same stuff that everyone says. And I'm going, you guys are all at the minimum. Like, what are you doing? Do you think someone's going to go, hey, Sally, you gotta fire that agent. I've got an amazing agent for you. Fire yours because he does paperless.
Yeah.
No. Oh, because he's a hard worker. No. Like, what is the reaction? How about this? Because you know what? He just rented a limo because my daughter didn't, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, holy crap. It's never, ever really directly related to real estate. It's related to the emotion. So formula part one is unexpected. And that's the emotional reaction you're looking for. The second step is extreme thoughtfulness. Okay? Extreme thoughtfulness. Like, what if I called you, Erwin, and I'm like, yo, dude, hey, you know what? You hooked me up with something. I just want to say thanks, dude. Okay, that's nice, right? At least we say thanks. That is like, the bar is so freaking low nowadays. We can win so big by being extremely thoughtful. But let's add the formula. I send you a gigantic box. Like, I'm talking big. I ship it to you. It's filled with styrofoam popcorn. And it's a single thank you card inside. Even your laugh is a reaction. You see that? It's like I grade everything on the emotional reaction. You just laughed. You didn't laugh when I said, hey, let me just call you and say thanks. It was like in your head, you're like, I told you a giant box shows up with a little thank you card, which cost me maybe $50 to ship to you because it's an empty box. And then you went, ah, ha, ha, ha. You laughed. You emotionally reacted, even just telling the story. So the obsession is that reaction we're looking for. And then the third thing is genuine, honest, real. We are so hypersensitive to ulterior motives nowadays. There is so many growth freaking hacks that are garbage where you get stuck in a funnel. It's like, hey, do you want to come to a webinar? And it's 90 minutes of them hard closing you on another program. You go to a speaking event and the whole thing is to upsell you to the next program. Like, it is unbelievable. It works because people are empty and looking outside of themselves for their solutions. If they were confident, they probably wouldn't be not like, I wanted people to be intentional with their lives. These people just sign up to these things. But the truth is, once you get burnt, like, I just spent $5,000. What did I get? Oh, shit. Now we're hypersensitive. And you watch, that sensitivity is going to rise at 100 miles an hour going forward. There's too many people. I've seen so many funnels and all these. I believe in all that stuff, but not when it's to get someone. And so this is why we need to be genuine in our thoughtfulness, because I know how, if I give you something, you're going to give me something back. Well, we understand that. But the heart of it has to be because it's so freaking cool. I'm going to make him so happy. He's going to laugh. And what's he going to be like when he gets this box? Not like, okay, once he gets that, he's going to react. Then I'm going in for the kill. Like, do you understand? So that's the 4 things, right? 3 things: unexpected, extremely thoughtful, and it's got to be genuine.
So that's with the expectation of return. That's kind of like how I interpret what you're saying.
Yeah, expectation of what you get. Oh yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because the trick is to expect nothing back.
Yeah.
Like that has to be somehow in your psyche. Completely.
Mm-hmm. That's tough for people. Because I don't mean to go on a tangent too far. You can bring us back whenever you want. Because one of the things that I mentioned to you was...
I'm like, yeah.
One of the things that we talked about before we started recording was I find the challenge for many investors is they have trouble calculating return on investment for proper customer service. Like, for example, I had an awning blow off of my property, heavy windstorm, single mom with 4 kids. So like that's awful to me. It's actually it's still hanging on the property. So it was like flapping around, smacking against the house. Right. So I go up there, I deal with it. Right.
Yeah.
And I brought gift cards so that her kids can go have an hour, whatever. Awesome. To go to the local trampoline park, right? And people thought that was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, really? That's crazy? To me, that sounds like standard customer service. Something about the property failed. I haven't seen you guys in a while. You guys paid me a lot of money to live here. You're my customer, a good paying customer, great customer. Your kids will love this. I know they will. And most people don't think about these things.
It's funny because there's personality types come into play massively. So what you're describing is what a logical analysis, what I hear you saying is it's the right thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one way to look at it. That's just 50% of society will do the right thing. Mm-hmm. The other 50% of society will have absolute, like, oh my goodness, they must have gone through so much. Like they would be so deeply, deeply involved in what they're going through and everything. Not saying you're not. It's just that what do you lead with? It's like, well, that's the right thing to do. The other personality will be extremely like emotional about like the pain they went through. Mm-hmm. But the end of the day, the thoughtfulness is the same. It's just how we get to it is different. Mm-hmm. And so that's just to understand, because some people might look at it too logically or some people might look at it too emotionally. But we need both. We need the logic and the emotional side to understand how do we get to that place. But at the end of the day, it feels normal for you because you're a really good guy.
Just trying to do the right thing, Single mom, 4 kids. She probably wants a break. So, that's basically daycare, right? The kids can go bounce around on a trampoline while she can take a break.
Yeah, amazing. Right? Like if you can understand that. Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Like that. Once you get into it, it's easy. And do you know what happens? It becomes really fun because investing in real estate can be a very boring grind. Oh, yeah. And you're usually dealing with bullshit. Like you're dealing with stuff, man. I had 61 properties and I had 4 cities and I ran the management company with my company. Like I had built my own management company and it's like, oh, it's a terrible job. It is like, and that's why the thoughtfulness will, like, it almost gives you permission to let them down once in a while. It almost insulates the relationship. So it's almost like you'll let someone off the hook when you love them. But if you approach the relationship as a performer, they're going to expect you to perform. But if you do something thoughtful, they're going to let you off the hook when you fail. It's very much relationship. That's why in real estate, even teaching agents, it's like, don't come at it as, I'm going to kill it. You need to connect. Mm-hmm. Because when you're killing it, and you're not going to be perfect, because when you do fail and you don't do a good job, that connection, that thoughtfulness, that's what insulated when you fail or when you drop the ball. Mm-hmm. they're going to be, don't worry about it. I remember that time you dropped off that basket for me when I needed it. But if you never do that in its performance, they're just going to go, why aren't you performing? So it's positioning on that relationship, hey?
Totally. So I'd like to ask you, so this is where a lot of new business people mess up, whether they be agents or investors or whatever. They're trying to establish a new relationship, a new commercial relationship. So it can be a real estate agent trying to talk to someone about doing business for the first time. It could be an investor talking to, like yourself. Say, I'm Erwin. I want to buy properties in Edmonton. Ben, will you help me? Where do people usually screw up in these? Actually, the question is, how should they do it right to start off the relationship?
So give me the scenario. So like either it's going to be the same scenario. So you got one person's going to have an investment. They want to bring in a financial partner. The other scenario is that there's a real estate agent looking to sell a house. Kind of the same kind of thing you're saying, right?
Well, the first one that comes to mind, honestly, is the guy that I'm not picking on agents. I just know that people have been scripted to say this. I'll use the script. I'm just using their script. Hey, Ben, do you know anyone interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate?
Okay, so
didn't that feel scripted?
Yeah. No, you know what though? Again, if it's authentic, it's not. If it's scripted, it is. Like I could walk up to anyone ever and say, "Hey, do you know anyone buying or selling real estate?" And they say no. Okay, great. So hey, if you don't ask, you don't get nothing. See you later. Super easy. But if you're following a script, then it's going to be terrible because what's happening is that you're being someone else. So now we're getting into the world of own who you are, be intentional, be who you are, be proud of who you are. So if you walk up to a stranger and say, "Hey, look, I'm an investor. Do you know anyone looking at rental properties? I got this crazy deal." They're if they hate you, who cares? But if you're being yourself, you will get them to open up. But not if you're scripted, because that's bullshit. I don't believe in scripts. Zero. But that's because they lose the identity of who they are.
Okay. All right.
Weird answer for you. That wasn't like a direct answer. But.
No, I love it because, I understand why scripts exist. It's for folks who, it's a faster path. It can be considered a hack, right?
Yeah.
But more and more that I've been around, I find that everyone needs a custom solution. So a script isn't the right answer for everyone. Someone to create their own answer isn't the right answer for everyone.
Like, for example, I have a script, I guess, but you can't, like let's say, how do you write a thank you card? Okay. You have to understand, like, if you're going to teach a script, the script can't be so you can get them. What we want to do is how do we connect? So again, it looks like I got a script. I say this when I'm thinking like when you do a thank you card. So here's an example to answer your question. So when you meet someone, and you're trying to do a commercial relationship, you're trying to connect, I want them to be my agent. I've showed them one house, or maybe you've talked to them once over coffee to say you want to invest. What's the next move? The next move is to be thoughtful and surprise them, right? Do the formula. So what I would do is say something like, "Hey, Erwin, I just want to say thanks so much for meeting. You know what? The one thing I've learned in this business is trust is always earned, not freely given." That's a script. But you don't teach scripts because of the freaking script. You teach them why we wrote that and to own why. Here's why. In this business, I've learned means I am experienced. Second thing is, if you say something along the lines of, trust is earned, it's not freely given. Well, you're having mass respect to say, "Erwin, we just got to know each other. It's going to take time. We both don't trust each other right now, but let's give it some time. And I'm looking forward to maybe getting to the place where we trust each other." Like, it's so respectful. That script works so good, so good. But they have to understand why. So I say I'm not a script guy, but if we do a script, it's just be tied to connection and psychology, and you got to own it. If you don't own it, it doesn't have the same energy.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I call that a script. It's more like, in a few words, what you feel that you use repeatedly.
Yeah. It's kind of an architected way of saying, "Hey, look, let's give it some." Like, it's just a really well written message. So, but yeah, when you do like door knocking, or someone does door knocking and has a script, it's terrible. Imagine dating and just having a script. That's what exactly we're talking about. "Hi, my name is Ben. Just so you know, I'm a nice guy. Oh, you look pretty." That's what it feels like when someone's doing a script and they don't know why they're doing it.
You did go knocking, did you not? To start off?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Door knocked. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you recommend folks do now? Would you still recommend door knocking?
It's very much who you are. So if I was to coach someone, and it's who you are. So I think if you have a listing, you can really maximize it. But you got to understand the system. Like the how-to doesn't matter. It's meet someone. If you want a real relationship, it's going to take 4, 5, 6 times with that person for them to develop trust. So if I meet someone at the door and leave and I have a good experience, if I don't have a reason to come back, it's a complete waste of time. You just went to like a 1% chance of a sale. Same with investors. Same if you want to land an investor, build a relationship. Don't go in for the kill out of the gate. If you get lucky, you might. That's why people fail, because they door knock. Do you know what I'm buying or selling? Do you know what I'm buying or selling? But what if you dropped off and just said, hey, look, Happy Canada Day. Here's a flag. My name's Ben. By the way, would you like to know what everything sells for in your neighborhood? I've got a neighborhood. I got a neighborhood watch, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to putting everyone on the neighborhood watch. You can find out what sells. You know what? Even if you don't even need to sell, no big deal. Maybe someday you might know someone. See ya next Christmas. I'm there again with a Christmas mat. Here's from $10 from Home Depot. Boom, second time, third time, fourth time. Now we're talking business. But that's why people fail, because they do one thing and switch. But they understand the thinking of relationship is, how do we get to the 5th time together? Like, this is our 3rd time. You had your team come to my event. You know, like I might go up in November to your event. Like, there's a relationship. You know, years ago, we met each other through our mutual friends, and you saw me speak, and like we connected at the Phillips event. Like, it just takes time. It takes time, and we just want to go in and boom, let's get it.
Yeah, so people want that quick kill.
They just want that quick kill, and I'm all about the quick kill. If it's sitting there, I'm going for it. So that's the other side of it. It's 2 sides of my mouth. If a guy's sitting there going, yeah, I need to sell. Oh, I'll talk to you next week. No.
That's different.
What's your name? What's your number? And get out of that moment as fast as you can, because the only mission is to get to the next meeting. And if you've got that mission done, promise that you will do something, then follow through, which is the establish your trust. Because if I said, hey, let's go on the podcast, it's at 2:00 and I show up at 2, we've subconsciously can trust each other. So you know what? You want to manufacture that by action promise, going, yeah, I'll get that to you. And then you do it. So now these are functions of how to build the relationship. That's why you promise something. Here, I promise I'll get that to you tomorrow. You've just set it up to build credibility. Then you get to the next meeting. But then if you can listen, you find the thoughtful move. You listen, like, oh, your kid ups Lego. Week I pop in. I was at the store. It was on sale. You make it a big deal. Oh, I saw it and I thought of you. Just, the Star Wars collection. I thought he might like it. I was just in the area. I bought one for my son. What's he going to say? Who's he going to use? I bought him Star Wars Lego. That's the unexpected world class. And that's what you do. In every relationship, whether it's business or not, I think we need to be doing that.
Wow.
Blowing.
I don't know what your marketing spend is.
It's not much. It's lean. It's lean.
Really? Christmas mats for how many?
Because once you... Oh, what's that? $10? But $700? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't do the whole neighborhood. I do that when I'm doing stuff. It's not like I've done the whole neighborhood. I've done 9,000 Canada Day flags back in the day with a brochure that says, please enter my contest. And then they all had to come back to me rather than just dropping flags. It was a contest. I did 9,000, had 20 people at 2 a.m. Everyone had a route. I did that with pumpkins. Like, when you start as an agent, get ready, because you need to hustle. Like, there's nothing else you need to do, because the more people you talk to, the more you're going to get business. This is the biggest problem, is that they think they do some friggin' social media post. No, you got to hustle. Once you're in the game, then you go off referral. So the problem is they hustle. They didn't build a referral base with blowing their mind on the way up. So they're weak on referrals. So when the market turns or they get busy, the referrals aren't filling the business anymore. So you always got to go get new, and that's where burnout happens. And that's why you need a business versus just having a job. You need an assistant so you can get out of that hustle. It sucks. You think I want to do that again? Not a chance in hell. There's nothing fun about working that hard. What's fun is building something cool. And having wins. But I think that's a big same thing with, you want to find an investor, go talk to people.
Like, I'm loving good this. I'm hoping the listener appreciates this, because you're talking about your system, how you built it up. Because the mistake I find a lot of people, new people in business make, is they go direct for the kill. Like the script I told you, right? Yeah. Do you know anyone interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? You're looking for the only sale from that is usually the instant kill, right? versus you're looking for like the instant kill's there sometimes, right? But that might be 20%.
Yeah.
Like for a business like your size, that might be 20% of your business, right? So they're ignoring the entire 80% of the business, which is what you did by doing the getting 100%. Attention with the flags, the pumpkins, the Christmas mats, right?
Totally.
And then the following up.
How about keeping your client? Like, it's a weird thought. Like, how many times does a real estate agent sell a house and that person previously had an agent? 99% of the time, correct? Like, how many times, unless they're a new buyer or a new investor, minus just those, every other deal you ever do, you're taking it from an agent, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
So, why don't we start a business, Erwin? The only thing that we'll do, you're going to pay me, we'll do this together. You're going to pay me $10,000 to remind you to follow up every day. That's all. I'm going to just have someone to remind you to follow up with your leads and follow up with your past clients. That's the entire coaching program. And I bet you I put 50 G's from that 10. You see, because where's those clients? They're like, I'm getting clients every day from these people. Like, don't you have a net? Don't you have somehow to keep them? That's why we do the birthday system. Every single client forever gets a fresh cooked dozen cookies on their doorstep on their birthday forever. I got people 5 years later going, Ben, I can't believe you're still giving to me. We're in the game. It's $30 a year for that client. But the thing is, the most people are hustlers. I just really have a passion to teach real estate agents to build a business. And a business is something where you outsource things. You have an assistant, you put systems in place, but never sacrifice the world-class experience. A lot of guys are systems guys, but they systemize so much that they lose the experience. Like, yep, I connect with my clients 50 times a year with my email drip system. And have you called them once? Have you had anything emotional happen in the year with that person? It's just, you have to grade systems against the client experience. It's always the rule. Sometimes things I do are so freaking so inefficient, like calling every single client. That'd be pretty inefficient because you could probably just send a text message. But you can, but if you could price out the loss of business because you become too efficient. So that's two sides of my mouth, right? You need to have a business running on its own so you can just focus on doing sales and marketing, or you'd be real. Anyways, yeah, kind of spinning around in a circle here, but.
So Ben, I'm going to stress you on this one now. We mentioned this offline.
I like that. Okay.
We mentioned this offline. So actually, no, this is actually a good one.
Let's do it.
I've been hearing a lot about from other Airbnb investors, people who operate in Airbnb or short-term rental, and apparently, this is right up your alley. Apparently, a really good business opportunity is if you can offer an experience, not just a stay, not just a room, a house, whatever it is. You can actually earn more income from it. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you was, first of all, so I was writing a chapter on how to run an Airbnb, and then my first thought was, again, most investors have never taken any sort of education on customer service, having some above average level of empathy for their customer.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give you an example. I saw a Facebook post in a Facebook group around Airbnbs, and someone has shared a screen capture of an Airbnb host just ranting. This is in their ad. So this is the first impression anyone has that's trying to book their place.
People are funny.
This is hilarious. It's like, if you do not understand technology to how to use a keyless door lock, do not book this property. Vote for me. You're an idiot.
And when you leave, I'm going to slap you in the face. Woo-hoo.
If you do not know how to use a digital thermostat, do not book this property.
If you're that much of an idiot, don't call me. Like, you know what? There's people, but the thing is, though, this is where everything has to be a psychological thing. It has to be an internal look. It all comes back to that relationship with himself. Whoever's saying that, I want to ask that guy what's going on in his life. Like, truthfully, I want to break that guy down and be like, why are you so unhappy? Where did you get screwed? Let's talk that through. You don't need to live like that anymore. That's my heart. That poor guy. I think what an asshole, but poor guy. It's kind of the mix. Like, what an idiot. Like, I feel like you're going to make me feel like an idiot. I want to know why. So because we can learn from that, right? Like, where are we doing that? Like, where are we in a subtle way? Like, we're not doing that. That's pretty bad. But where am I still doing that in my life where maybe I'm still a little bit harsh? Maybe I'm still a little bit arrogant. And like, where am I doing that? Because I feel like we're laughing at this guy, but in a weird way, we're all like that at some level. And if we can look inside, the businesses will flourish, as we can see right there. If that guy was a really loving human being with amazing energy, every single thing starts from that. And then now let's talk about how to blow these businesses up. But the driver of the car needs to be looked at, right?
Yeah.
You know, the driver who is the guys who win the races. It's not the car. We always want to build the best car, but we're not good drivers. Anyways, sorry, man, I went off on a rant there.
No, but you actually gave me an idea. For any of my Airbnb customers that have a decent length stay, I'll send them a dozen big fresh cookies.
You're kidding me? Set it up, but go talk to a cookie place, right? Get them to search to do the whole thing. You just order it, and boom, they drop it off. Yeah, you don't have to drop it off.
Damn. Okay, minutia question. You send it to the work or to the home?
What I think I would do is if we want to get into it, we're going to play a little bit. Like, this is playtime. It's like a client experience audit time. So it's like the mission is, how do we get your Airbnb clients to tell every human being that the only place in the entire planet that you need to go is to Erwin's Airbnb? What would we have to do to get that reaction? That's my obsession. So let's think about it, and then let's try to double that, and let's try to double it again. And let's try to do it as cheap as we freaking can. That's my mission. So why not do you have their home address where they're from? Because that might be a little, remember, we need unexpected. We need thoughtful, extreme thoughtful. There's the system. So like if you could say, hey, look, I need your home address, and you mail them something like that, like peanut brittle, or just like, but if you want to go real world class, you find out who they are with a phone call strategically. Hey, awesome. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing for fun? Oh, we love cycling. Oh, no, wait. So you help them there. You be really good. Remember the minimum, really good, high serve, clean place, good price. Like, you give them all the stuff that wins. But then now it's like, okay, that's minimum, done. Everyone thinks they're finished at that point. That's my starting line, right? So it's like, if they're cycling, guess what I'm doing? Maybe I ship them a miniature bike. Maybe it's a pizza cutter that's a freaking bike from Ben, the Airbnb guy. Like, it's cost me $12, and it's like I hope you come again. Like, you're getting 5 stars every time with a pizza cutter, but I did it from a personal, quick little conversation with each one.
Yeah.
What if they're like, oh, we're at this one conference, it's some insurance conference, and oh, really? Do you like that stuff? Not really. Like, you could, I don't know, figure it out. This is the secret sauce to explosive growth over time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just can tell you're passionate about this. You're just a creative thinker around the subject.
This is playtime. Like, it's like playtime. Let's a client experience stuff. We just got to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
Like I've done stuff like, even for example, say your podcast guests. Just happened to me that, you might be able to do something for me, but no. But I'm saying though, like, for a podcast guest, think about this. I've done some things, but I don't share. By the way, the other step is this: never, ever, ever publicly share it, ever. Again, because you want the conversation to be your brand. The conversation behind your back is your brand. I don't care how good you are in saying you're some great, like you're some great person out there that does, like, you're the guy with the cat, or you're the how about Hamilton's number one guy, Mr. Hamilton. So that's a brand, right? That's not your brand. That is your image. Okay, the image is what you want to draw. Okay, your brand is the experience you give and the conversation it creates. I don't want to debate what that is. That's just the way I think, and I absolutely think that with purpose, because what happens when you think that? You run a different business. Every single activity you do will be absolutely to think, how could I create a conversation that freaking creates mass reaction? Rather than like, oh, I did great. No. Your conversation, and that's compounded. That's long game, because in 5 years, you'll start realizing it. The problem is we're so egotistical that we need that stupid buzz of like, wow, I did a good job. No. Play 5 years like this. Watch what happens to everything you do. Do
you consult on anything besides agents? Because I feel that you could do this for pretty much
well,
any business.
It's really funny you say that, because I am like on the edge right now of opening something up for businesses, for real, like legit. I am sitting here, and can I be really honest with you?
Sure.
The thing that scares me the most is to do that. I know logically that I am completely built for this. I've helped many businesses outside of real estate, but and I'm being just honestly self-aware, is that when you get close to your built-in destiny of what you're freaking built for, it's scary as shit. Because there's something about committing and betting all in on Ben that scares the shit out of me. I'll talk a good talk, but that's how I feel. So 1000%, I sit there and think about it until my wife goes, "You're thinking about it too much." So there's an offering is the next move or something. To be honest, you're catching me right in the middle of it, and I'm not hiding. I'm vulnerable. I'm being me, because that's the journey. And that's where I'm at. But think about it. Logically, I've got a crazy brand, and I'm growing massive steam in the agent world. Now, at a core level, is that what I want to do? Meh. It doesn't fire me up. What fires me up is when I say playtime, give me any business. Let's go. Let's go. Let's lift the game. That's so I put it out there, because here's what happens when you become vulnerable. Opportunities show up. I expect zero from this. Zero. But I know that if I hide who I really am right now is scared to do that. If I hide that, then the universe can't help me. It's who I am. I'm scared. I don't want it. But I am going to go get it. But you're literally seeing me midstream. So when you ask me that, it's so funny. It's so ironic that you ask me that. Because literally that's what's on my head.
That's a challenge in my head. I'm thinking, what if Ben was like in charge of client experience at like one of a company that's not really well liked?
I destroy it. I already know that. So one thing I know is that you want to put yourself in a place of certainty. Like, for example, okay, if I was supposed to let's train horse jumpers. How would I feel? Shit, man, I'd probably figure it out, but man, I'm not certain. I bet I'd have a good class.
Yeah.
And it would be pretty awesome. And I'd probably outsource it. I'd bring some jumpers in, but I wouldn't feel certain.
Right.
You ask me if I can help a company with their client experience? Mother effing certain. Right. Like, not even a joke. It's playtime. Like, bring it. So that's where I think that's where you look in your life and go, where are you certain? That's where I think you can start winning.
Right. Right.
Geez, I don't know what it is, man. You got me fired up. Maybe I had too much coffee or something. I didn't even have very much today.
My first thought was like, what if we put like Ben behind like client experience of like a hated company, like an oil company, like British Petroleum. We're not going there. What if there's like a bank?
I would not take the job, but I think I think I'd have to be passionate about what they do.
Right.
But I love that shit, man. There's a lot of people that don't like me. Lots. And at the end of the day, that's really helped me. It really helped me stand on my own. Because if you can't make anyone happy, then what do you got to do? Well, you got to be you. That's what's left.
Let's put it out there to the universe. If you think, if you're listening to this, or you know someone who you think would jive with Ben and needs a turnaround in client experience, wow. I'd love to see the result of that.
You see what I mean? Like, I seriously expect nothing. I mean that with all my heart. I don't expect it, but I do know how the universe works, and you can't hide. And when you hide, you get more hiding. You have to show yourself. You have to speak up. You got to, like, I could cry. I'm so serious about it. I just know I see so many people dying, hiding themselves when they have something to say. Kills me. Kills me. Why? Because your freaking mother? Because of freaking like your dad or your friend or some stupid person that's trolling you on Facebook? You're not going to speak your own truth? Fuck. Well, then guess what? The universe does not see you. And all your dreams are just going to sit there and rot until you can show who you are, be who you are. Now I'm preaching. Sorry, man. I feel like I'm just too fired up. I don't know what it is, man.
I think one of the challenges today is that people are more distracted than ever. They don't have that internal dialogue, or they give themselves the space to just let their mind go. Like meditation, for example. Like, for example, a friend of mine said, "Hey, you ever drive without the radio on?" Like, I'm like, all the time. Yeah. Like, really? That's crazy. Like, I think it's crazy not to. Because you always have these devices in our phone. And before the devices, we all had newspapers or magazines. Like, people were always like consuming something instead of allowing their mind to have some time to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Right? Could I be doing more? Am I happy? Am I happy? How do I feel?
But then,
right?
It's all that. Those are the questions that we don't want to ask, man. It's funny because I just signed up 13 people for my Business from Within mentoring group. It's a year long, and what's crazy, I did this application, right? But whenever I did my first, like, I do a first breakdown session with them, and I said, how is it filling out the form? And I'm looking at it. It's not even that vulnerable. It's like 5 things you like about your business, 5 challenges. Like, it's like 5 things you don't like about yourself. There's a little bit. But every one of them's like, oh my goodness, that was so vulnerable. Like, oh my, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't know that reaction was coming, because in contrast, it gives me a clue that who's getting real with themselves, because we're hiding. We're just hiding. And it's just society. Women wear makeup. That's a hiding. It's hiding. I don't think my wife's take off makeup in 30 years. I get to see her, and I think she's absolutely gorgeous.
I got dressed up for this interview with you. Did you? Collar shirt on. Did my hair.
I did my hair too. Man, look at this. Shiny. I might even have a stained shirt on right now. The stain's under my camera, so I'm good.
Yeah. I'm wearing shorts. It's hot over here.
Did you hit the gym today?
Not today. I was
only
actually
asked because I did. That's why.
Good for you. We gotta hang when you're in town.
You know what? Yeah, I've had this weird injury on my shoulder, like from working out and not doing it properly. And it's been like, I went to the doctor and everything. They're like, yeah, it's a tendonitis or something. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's 10 months. I'm like, what the heck? But it's true. Like, I was working out. So now I got a whole new workout routine just completely based out of, and it's been getting way better. But yeah, no, working out's amazing. But yeah, no, I really, as I'm getting older, I'm healing slower and different things. And I used to be bull in a china shop. I heal, boot, break my leg, heal her up, let's go. And something about, I think the universe is telling me to take care of myself.
How old are you now?
38.
38. You're still young, Buck, in my opinion.
How old are you?
40.
40. Ooh, old mofo, you know?
It's actually funny. More recently, I found I needed even more sleep than I thought I did. I'm just one of those types.
Yeah. Starting to feel that too. Self-care has become big this year for me. I feel like I hit a little bit of burnout, to be honest. Just not hitting it hard, but I was teasing with it. I went, but I already know it's okay. Slow it down. Go home at 3. I have this obsession of being productive of every moment of every day.
Right.
On whether it's hanging with my daughter, whether it's like I'm doing, but I'm starting to just let myself off the hook. My business is running on its own right now, and it's like to be okay to do that, because burnout takes 6 weeks to 8 weeks to get over. So it's like, yeah, I was teasing with it, and then I got this injury in my arm. Then I'm like not sleeping enough, and then it's like, holy crap, realizing it's becoming really, really important to me now. Way more important than it's ever been. This young buck that can take on the world and destroy everything and get up and go again and go again. Feel like, you know what, it's time to take care. Time to take care of myself a little bit. But you got to listen, right? That comes from listening. Well, when you're hurt, it's easy.
So you have your real estate business with your realtors and your investments. What else do you do? You mentioned coaching.
Yep. Yeah, I've been coaching for years. I actually started outside of real estate, worked with energy companies. I had video companies, and I just niched out in real estate, became a real estate agent. And I said, I'm going to coach people from the ground up. And that's 6 years now of actual just agents. So I have a company called, I got a Agent from Within Academy. So the agentfromwithin.com/academy, that's like 30 hours of amazing training for really low cost. And then it's once a month I go on there and I do a kind of a group session. So it's my heart goes out to all these agents that can't afford it. Like 99% of them have nothing at the beginning, nothing. And there's this academy now. I'm trying to build that and hack the area where someone will pay a couple $100 and it's literally right there. Everything they need, Ben style, it's all there. So I'm in the midst of like kind of tooling that a little bit. That's something I'm working on. The other one is Business from Within. That's kind of a Business from Within coaching mastermind. That's what it is. It's got some coaching, it's got 2 retreats, but it's really about the driver of the car versus the race car.
Well, what's the difference between the two?
One is just more like a subscription academy. It's more of a group where they can get to me at a really low cost. The other one's like, it starts at $12,000 just to start doing coaching together.
Nice.
So the other thing I have is obviously my podcast. It's From Within. It's called From Within, the podcast. And that's more my heart. If you want to find out who I am, that's me. That's like, we have amazing interviews, but at the end of the day, it's all within. Look from within, from within. So then Team Osterveld, I have my real estate team, 6 agents. I guess the brag is, according to gross commissions, which is a stupid metric, we're one of the top in Western Canada. Imagine if we could be graded on net profit, like a typical freaking business. We grade ourselves on our gross commission. So if I spend $1 million on marketing as an agent and I make $1 million, I am broke, but I am a god in real estate. Oh, he made the diamond. Oh my goodness, he's amazing. No, like net profit is the number. You get that.
Well, yeah, and we'll share it now. It's one of the truths about real estate investing is the folks that everyone knows as a household name. If you see like billboards and billboards aren't cheap. Because I know one guy in my town, lots of billboards. I heard his marketing is close to $1 million, so he might gross like 1.3 for a fair sized team. Like that's not
just
much.
Imagine.
Much.
But it's when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's catastrophic. So how do we mitigate that risk? That's where world-class client experience, because it's free. And there's always come back to you. Like imagine every year you gain another client, you gain another client, and eventually you got 400 or 500 clients on the list. What if it's 10% referral every year? That's 50 deals a year. You got retirement. Like it's a system that's, I don't understand it. I'm so confused by the industry. Everything is on gross. It's all about pushing you to make gross. And I don't know. Anyways, it's just a hustle, and broker just trying to keep you in the game and collect as much fees as you can. Like everything's so self-serving. I don't understand. I don't understand it.
And then you have events too. You have live events.
Yeah. I went across Canada there last year. August to February was the tour. It's
busy.
The art of building a real estate business, and that's 2 days of everything I got, put it on the table, and so far the feedback's been pretty spectacular. It's never seen nothing like it. I don't have an upsell. It's just legit dropping it, and so that's fun to do, man. That's fun, and I think it takes a lot of work to put your own events on where you stand alone. Like think about it. It's so much easier to get a famous guy in. I just did it myself. By the way, I think you are doing that, aren't you? By the way, that's way easier. Trust me. Like who's Ben? You know?
Everyone knows Ben. Nobody knows this Cardone guy.
To be honest with you, speaking is like, it's just absolutely my favorite thing. Like if I've done I've done speaking engagements from all over the place. I've had a few different requests lately. It's just a different flavor. You know, when I go speak, it's people are finding like what's happening in the real estate world is most real estate agent speakers, most real estate speakers are all the same. They're all the same. They might be, and if you're lucky, they're really motivational, but they're not really leaving them with anything that changes their life forever. And so I come in and I challenge their soul and give them amazing strategies. It's kind of a weird mixed up thing. So speaking is really, really good. Like I think that's going to be something that's going to keep growing too. So I just got a couple things going on got a beautiful family, 5 kids.
Only 5 kids.
I can honestly say that they're really into me, and we have an amazing relationship. It's funny saying that because so many people say that and it's bullshit, including me years ago. I used to say the same thing. Oh yeah, my kids are good, and it wasn't true at all. It's as true as it's ever been right now. My wife and I have conversations around like the most insane, honest conversations, like around sex, masturbation. We talk about like inner desires that you would never ever tell like your wife. We really, really talk about everything, and that's something I think is in the future as well, is this relationship with your wife and relationship with others. I think that we don't have the honesty level that's needed, and it's not about being a great husband. It's about being deadly honest with each other, and that's where connection is, right? So yeah, no, that's been really good too. Yeah, that's all that's going on. That's all.
You're busy, dude.
I pulled her back a bit too, so
that's why I just hired a celebrity.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing any events right now. I don't have any speaking engagements booked right now. You know, so
you're in town for something you mentioned before we were recording.
In Toronto?
Oh no, you were saying it was a retreat.
Yeah, business from within the mastermind retreat's coming up in October. Yeah, I got some amazing guests coming in, and that's for agents right now. I've got a couple people that aren't agents that might come, but we're getting pretty full. That's the 1 year. If you're an agent and you're really interested in working directly with me, it's going to be inner work, and everything that I have real estate wise is yours. You can have it all. I don't care. Every single thing, every strategy, everything is yours. As long as I can go within your life and you can go within my business, that's kind of business from within.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
It's an application invite only. I got to pick the people that are wanting to take that journey.
And where can people find out about it?
I literally do not advertise this program. And I just
we can't even talk about it. We have to edit this part out.
Yeah, like I might have to kill you after this, but
no, you would kill everyone that listens to this part.
The truth is get a hold of me, private message me, PM me, DM me, let me know if we can have a 15-minute call and see if there's a fit. To be honest,
right.
Like if you want to become a multimillionaire, don't call me. If you want to have a business that serves your life and you want to find happiness, fulfillment, and you want to use real estate or a business to serve that, then yeah, that's my thing. So,
and where can folks find you?
Oh man, I'm everywhere. Facebook, my personal Facebook, social media, lots of websites, right? teamosville.com, agentfromwithin.com/academy. But yeah, if anyone wants to find me, they can find me.
Awesome. And you're coming November 9th?
So
you're coming November 9th.
Tell me about what's going on. November 9th. What's going on? I see it from a distance. I want to hear about it. We're live right now? I don't even know if we're live.
Never live.
We're live. Okay, well, let's tell the world what's going on. What's this November 9th thing?
Wealth Hacker.
It's a crocheting conference? Big crocheting conference you're into now? No?
It's a wealth hacking conference. It's everything I've learned about the most direct path. It won't be completely stable, because that's bullshit, It's gonna be ups and downs, nothing perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wealth hacking. It's the most direct path I've learned in my 100+ interviews of people, in my years of networking with folks. Our keynote speaker is Grant Cardone, who's possibly the greatest wealth hacker, number one in demand speaker on the subject. And then I have a whole bunch of friends that I've met along the way in my journey of being an investor. Folks who do stocks. A good friend of mine, Omar, is a option seller, and he makes 6 figures just by selling options on his phone. 15 minutes a day, makes 6 figures doing that. He's been doing that for several years, and he's been able to do that. And that's how he raised down payments for all of his 30+ property investment portfolio. And then I have friends who had to rely on private lending and real estate in order to take 4 years off to grieve the passing of their partner. Right? I have people who had to live and die by these strategies. So private lending, and then we have a lot of friends that you and I both know, people like Russell Westcott, who's bought 100+ properties with other people's money through joint ventures. Pierre-Paul Turgeon, best speaker I know, educator on the subject of apartment building investing.
He used to work for CMHC, right?
Yeah. He used to underwrite the deals, and then a later job was he used to analyze how deals went bad. The deals that came back, then actually had claims.
Heard him talk. He's just humble too, and he's got a great presence. I like hearing him.
Yeah, heavy logic guy, but he's a good-hearted guy too. He during the Fort McMurray fires, he was giving out rentals to people. If he had vacancies, he would allow families to live in them.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's just, to me, I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. That's great. Of course,
Need you there.
That's awesome, man.
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, is it how long is it? How long's is it a day or 2 days?
Right now it's 1 day. Right now it's 1 day.
1 day packing it in, hey?
Yeah. 9 to 5. And then there'll be a VIP session for folks who have the VIP section, who want the VIP meet and greet with Grant Cardone. And Grant is 3 times New York Times bestseller. And his real estate portfolio. So he has a limited partnership. It's an investment fund that owns all multifamily properties, and it's over $1 billion US in assets under management. So he's legit. Oh, he's a sales guy too. He's a sales trainer. You'll get along.
He's a straight up sales guy. I could tell. Mile away. I think there's, to be honest with Grant, I get a little tired of the rah. There was one video, to be honest with you, that he talked about his story. Mm-hmm. And I really think if I was, man, I'd like to hear him talk about his, he's so freaking strong and impactful. I'm like, tell me about your story. Tell me the origin. And he may be doing that. I just don't follow him too much. Mm-hmm. But I heard one thing from him and I'm like, I instantly went from like, yeah, he's a big shot guy to, oh, wow, he's a good dude. It was like this morphing of his story. I was like, oh, wow, interesting. I now understand where he comes from. That makes so much more sense. Mm-hmm. So I love it. He's just being him, man. He's doing Grant, I love that.
Yeah. No, I actually think you'd jive with his story because he lost his dad at a young age, and that turned his life to alcohol and drugs. Ruined his life.
Crazy.
Took probably 20 years off of his productivity, and then he came back at it. Hit bottom.
It's amazing. I'd probably get along with him.
I think you would. You guys share similar journeys, and you guys it's a completely underrated skill is sales. And that's
100%.
what allowed him to bounce back and drive. Dude is driven.
Yeah, I'd like to know why. What does that drive?
I know.
I love that. I like to know what's driving it, because it can be anger, it could be passion, it could be fear, it could be love. I just get in, just like how you said your daughter, right? Like, where's that from? I'm like, what is that? I always like the human mystery of what makes people tick.
I'll ask him, because we're gonna have a 20-minute Q&A with him.
Cool.
So I'm looking for questions to ask him. That's actually a beautiful one, because actually I've said this to people before. Like, he's jacked, and he's 60, and he's loaded. Right? What more do you have to prove?
Well, and that's the thing. You're assuming he's proving something. So that's interesting, right? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny how we have those assumptions. And I think the question, I would ask him the question and then ask in a different way.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have a packaged answer. I try to get behind it.
Right,
that's just my own thing. That's the truth on it. I'd be asking a question and try 3 or 4 different angles on motivation, different words. It's like, how could I ask the question so it's not going to be a packaged answer?
Because before he comes,
I'm motivated, and
before he comes to our event, the weekend before he's in Miami, the weekend before, like the 6 weeks before, he has a weekly talk all over Eastern Europe. Right? And
it's crazy.
Like you talked about, you feel loaded, I feel overloaded, right? Like, but he's at a different point in his life than us financially.
Yeah, he's 60 years old. You know what? I could see myself doing all that if I wanted to. In a weird way. Like, I have respect. I'm not like the guy, but I'm saying when I'm 60, I want to be building shit, doing cool shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, kids are older now. Like, my whole life is kids. Your life's kids. Like, kids are like, that changes. I'm so freaking excited. Like, I put so much energy into kids and cleaning and cooking, and like, I'm in the game with that, taking my daughter on dates and disciplining them, and just so much. Like, what am I going to do with all that energy? Holy shit, I'm excited. You know what I mean? It's like, like with what I do now, it's like, no, it could be done. Like, to be honest with you, I wish I didn't have to sleep. That's just the truth. Like, that's like, imagine if we just like there's just one life to live. I guess that does come back from, having a really shitty first beginning of the life too. You really appreciate it.
Right. Yeah, I'm jealous of Gary Vee, who only needs to sleep 4 hours.
I don't even know. No, I think he's not. I think he's 8 hours. I think he does talk about, sleeping 8 hours. I don't think he goes 4. I've tried it. You get real Barry. Like, I get real grouchy, man.
I can't focus. Yeah.
Focus and grouchiness is what happens to me. So you need sleep to keep in your game. So,
especially if you're working out regularly.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, this has been amazing. You're an awesome guy. Can't wait to I'm enjoying following you and see where you're gonna end up. I can't wait for like an awful company that like kicks puppies and hires you for like to teach them client experience. We're in the business of kicking puppies. Ben, fix our public image.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you never know, man. I'm definitely in that transition thinking. Doesn't mean I'm going to make a move or anything, but just definitely opening the doors to outside of the real estate world, more into the business world.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Cool, man.
Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks, man. I love it, and it's cool to get a little deeper a third time around, and I think that's really cool. Like, we actually get a chance to get to know each other, and it's not just like a meet and greet. Okay, we can get right into the stuff. So I love that.
And I really hope the listener appreciates, even though we didn't talk much about like ROI and cash flow and stuff like that. For anyone who wants to have a business that needs to go another level, client experience is so important.
It's all of it.
Yeah, because you don't leave
longevity as well.
Right.
People are saying 2-3 years, and like, even you want the client experience to last. It'll last. It'll give you longevity.
It'll get you referrals. It'll allow you to survive. Because if you 100%. Don't do these things, sorry folks, we didn't talk about ROI or cash flow once, but
well, we did in one way, because once you raise all the client experience. We don't know the exact number because we didn't measure it right now, but I guarantee you your ROI goes up and your cash flow will absolutely increase. Like, it's a guarantee. If you raise a client experience, you can probably charge more. Or client experience, you probably will get more investors. Your client experience, it's just an avalanche of goodness that comes, and it's a hard to measure exact ROI, but I bet you could if you change your game now and then watch your income in 2 years. But it is 2 years, 2, 3 years, 5 years. Just change the game and then long game it.
Right.
Then look at what you got going on.
And then I want the listeners to understand that most, like 80% of people out there are going for that quick kill. So if you're one of the 20% that go after the long kill, that's not called kill.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like for sure. It's short game versus long game.
Exactly. Ben, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. It's been great.
Yeah, continue wishes for good luck in all that you do. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, man. You too, man. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.